There is no male loneliness epidemic. It is a loser epidemic. Women are not the problem. They have just woken up and realized they deserve better.
Notice how these women are able to delineate what men do wrong. But when it comes time to owning, okay, what's women's role in this? No, there's nothing. Women do nothing wrong.
Physical fitness is a rabbit hole for extremist right-wing propaganda.
Yes.
Honey, the dumb hurts.
In the girl community, I would give myself a 10 out of 10.
Since we're all going to lie, I'll just be a 20.
So here's the thing. Be confident, but not delusional.
It's not insecure or controlling for you to say, give me your phone. And if she doesn't want to give it, fine, break up with her.
This is the phone test. And guys, you need to do it. If there's any hesitation on her part to hand that phone over, done. Again, guys, like this keeps coming up. First of all, hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new Jedediah Bila show. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh, how you feeling? I'm feeling good. Feeling hydrated. Important. Okay, so before we do anything, what am I going to ask you to do? Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Come on, do it. You got to do it. And pass the channel along to one person in your life. Man, woman, dog. You never know. Never know. Lady dogs need to be tamed too. Just saying. You're like, Dad, you've got off the rails. All right, today we got a packed show. We've got, a lot of clips. Stack the deck heavy.
There is no male loneliness epidemic. It is a loser epidemic. Men would rather be alone than to evolve and change, than to recognize, wait, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe there's something I need to change. If you can't get a woman because none of them want to be with you, maybe try and figure out why. Instead of making women the problem, saying that their standards are too high, maybe try and figure out why they don't want to be with you. What is it about you that maybe needs to change in order for a woman to want you? And they'll say, oh, there's no more good women left. Women are not like what they used to be. Women used to spend their days in the kitchen. Women only cared about taking care of the house and the kids. Oh yeah, and also women used to take our beatings. Women used to stay quiet. Women didn't complain. Women didn't think they could get better. Women didn't have confidence and self-worth and weren't able to speak up for themselves. And that suited you. That's the kind of person you wanted. If you love your mum's generation so much, cool, maybe marry one of her single friends. Women are not the problem. They have just woken up and realized they deserve better, that they don't actually need anything from these men, and they're only going to accept a man in their life if the man can make their life better. And if you cannot do that, you will not be chosen. If you can't level up and be the kind of man that women of this day and age want, you won't get to have a woman in this day and age. Your tricks are not working anymore. The internalized misogyny, the oppression, all of that, it's not working anymore. Women are waking up from it. Women are healing. Women are learning to love themselves and their own company. Women are learning to support and love each other and have communities and have friendships that are valuable and fulfilling. We now know that getting married and having children is a choice, that you don't have to do that is not what makes you successful or fulfilled in life. In fact, having kids when you haven't healed yourself and you don't know your own worth is actually the problem. It's why so many, if not all of us, have childhood traumas, have issues. What's happening right now is very normal. It's called evolution. It's happened many times before. When conditions change in the world, you either evolve to survive or you get left behind. This is evolution. Instead of complaining about it, evolve.
I was about to put out a Mayday call for help. Were you? You know Mayday, when they're like, Mayday, Mayday, into the walkie-talkie in the middle of the ocean when the ship is going to... I was about to do that because, oh man alive. Oof. Okay. So, again, are there truth nuggets in here? Yeah, and we'll talk about them. But is she full of it on a lot of stuff? Well, yes, that too. So again, guys, like this keeps coming up of... She says there's not a loneliness epidemic among men, and that's not true. There is among a lot of men. Okay, there is. Let's be real. Oh, they're not all losers, honey, that are lonely. It's not. There's a whole component of the marketplace that happens because women get a ton of attention online, then don't get the same amount of attention. Women are getting increasingly picky. We talk about this all the time, right? However, guys, yes. Do you need to have your you-know-what in order? Yes. If you have your finances, if you have your career, if you're fit, you take care of your body, you're in shape, you've got your masculine energy in order, you're confident, all of these things, will the pool widen for you? Yes. The pool of women will absolutely blow up in your favor. That's just a reality, okay? That's just a reality. These are the things that if you have that provide and protect energy that oozes throughout you, and not just the energy, but the energy combined with the ability, and most of that comes from being financially stable, the marketplace just widens for you, okay? So is this loneliness epidemic happening a lot among men who don't have those things in order? Yeah, that's true. If you're overweight, if you're lazy, if you're sitting at home playing video games or spending a $5, $10, $100 here and there at OF like a loser, yes. Is your pool shrinking? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Are there losers in the bunch? Yes. Are all lonely men losers? No. Okay. Where people like this lose me is when she starts talking about the women. Because somehow it's like they're able, notice how these women are able to delineate what men do wrong. When men make mistakes, it comes out of it rolls off the tongue with ease, right? But when it comes time to owning, okay, what's women's role in this? No, there's nothing. Women do nothing wrong. She even says women are not the problem. Imagine. No self-awareness, no accountability, no ownership, zero. Which is what then turns all the guys off. Because you know what? There's a lot of guys that would hear, you know what? I should have my shit together. You're right. Guys should have their shit together. They should be able to protect a woman. They should be in good shape. There's a lot of guys who will be on board with that. But then the second you say women are not the problem, oh no, it's all about, you lost them. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Because now you're one-sided, just spewing the talking points, and you get dismissed. Guys dismiss women who sound like that. Just say you're dismissed. Bye. Like in a classroom, dismissed. Okay. She says women aren't the way they used to be. Women aren't just taking care of the kids, being a mom. Women aren't feminine is what she's saying, right? They're not being, they're not taking care of the home. They're not doing all these things that she's grown to loathe, right? Because they're emblematic in her mind of oppression, right? I love when these women talk too. It's like everybody from that generation was abused, oppressed, miserable. It's just not true, honey. In the same way that it's not true that women who choose that now are not all, living a nightmare, that some idiot feminist told you they're living. It's just not real. It's not a real story. You took the bait. So she says, women aren't the way that they used to and guys don't like that. Well, yeah, because guys were guys and women were women and everybody knew their role and guys had a career path and it was clear that mom was going to be mom, right? There wasn't this expectation that dad was going to be mom and mom did mom's role. Oh, no. You mean everyone was doing what their biology naturally inclined them to do? And men and women were complimenting each other and kids were having a mom and dad that act like mom and dad and it wasn't all a confusing hot mess? Oh, no, honey. Oh, no. Modern times are so much better. She says women are not the problem. Again, I can't say that enough because there's no accountability. This is the no accountability woman. No accountability for anything. And then she throws all the buzzwords, internalized misogyny. You know it, right? Internalized misogyny, woman hater. You know the words that get thrown out when women don't want to take responsibility for the role they're playing in why things are going the way they are. Why doesn't she talks about how, guys wanted women to be a certain way. They're not that way anymore. They're not, why don't we talk about like were women, just being 304s all over the place? No, they weren't. Not like they are now. And then someone will come out and say, oh yeah, there were 304. Yes, there were. But it was much more few and far between. And they weren't making 100 social media videos and TikTok videos because that didn't exist, right? Just being proud of it. And it just was not this way. It wasn't. And women, these modern women associated, they say internalized misogyny. And what they actually mean is that guys just expect women to be women, right? To have the values and the energy of a woman. It's offensive to them. Why? Because they want to be a man. Duh. And now they're saying that, you heard what she said, oh, these roles of wife and mother, they don't define you. You can make that choice if you want, but it's not what makes you successful. Key line there. It's not what makes you successful. What a way to view a woman. Oh, so honey, it makes you successful to climb the corporate ladder, get twisted on the inside, have your testosterone climb, get increasingly masculinized, have all sorts of health issues because you're stressed out, be popping Xanax and drinking wine, and increasingly not have patience for your children, and outsource the care of your children to a nanny or to whoever because you don't have the time, the energy, or anything by the time you get home from a day's work where your boss has been your nightmare. Is that better? Is that success? Women, do you feel successful? Why? Because you have a bank account and a 401k? Who gives a Who cares? Internally, are you better off? Are you happier? Is your energy helping or hurting your house at that point? So this idea that women's success is not at all identified with whether they raise really good kids, whether their home is beautiful and people walk in and they say, wow, I want to live here. Do you know what homes are the best homes? When you're a little kid, you all know this. Can you remember being a little kid? There was always a home that you went in and you were like, ooh, I wish this was my home, right? You had a little fantasy about it, right? Why? What did that home look like? Think about it. Think about a TV show that you watched and you were like, this house is bomb. I want to be. You know what mine was? Do you know what mine was where I was like, this house is universally the best What did it look like? Beverly Hills 90210, like Cindy Walsh, baking. She's a stay-at-home mom, simple woman, right? Baking, cooking. She was mom. There was no crossover between mom trying to be dad and I'm not saying there was anything wrong with my house. My mom stayed home with me. She stayed home with me. She raised me. She cooked the meals. She did all that. But if you're going to look like you'd go to a friend's house, right? And they'd have that mom that bakes all day long, and the dad went off to work, and a mom was playing all day and hanging out, and there was a cat and a dog, and right? Children want a house to feel like a home. When you walk into somebody's home and that energy is of a home that a woman has created, it's a beautiful thing. Yet that is now not defined as successful for women. Better that they should be off listening to some male boss telling them what to do all day at work, stressed out, coming home with dark circles under their eyes, and their home was made into a home by the nanny. Think about it. Think about what you're labeling as success, ladies. And are you happy on the inside? I mean, the best decision my mother ever made for me was to stay home. We had a blast. We went around. We went to the mall. She'd wheel me in the stroller. I remember a lot of it. I don't remember, the stroller, although I do have some memories of that. But we would go to the mall. We would eat lunch. It was mommy time. And it made a huge difference. I didn't have a nanny. I didn't have an au pair. I had a grandma and grandpa that sometimes would babysit me. That was about it. That's how it should be. Sorry to break the modern woman philosophy. That sucks.
Wait, you think going to the gym is...
No, I'm just saying this idea.
Why did you mention the gym, though? What does that have to do with...
Because I'm thinking about the internet and how that kind of gym content kind of pushes you into this field of bettering yourself, but then you get into these conservative...
Are you against men bettering themselves?
No, I'm just saying it's kind of like a rabbit hole that you go into on the internet.
Wait, physical fitness is a rabbit hole for extremist right-wing propaganda?
Yes.
Strength training, weightlifting is...
A lot of the times,
is a slippery slope to right-wing propaganda.
Yes. Because think of Andrew Tate, he's all about self-betterment and all of those kinds of things, and that's super similar.
Do you know that Hitler was also a vegetarian? Do you think vegetarians
I'm talking about media as it is now, not simply because you go in the gym and get stronger to better yourself. You become...
Okay, stop. Honey, the dumb hurts. Oh my God, these brainwashed young, pretty, brain dead. I can't do it. Holy mother. So she's trying to say, first of all, what is she saying about liberal guys? If the conservative guys are the ones that she associates with bettering yourself and getting to the gym and being fit, where are the liberal guys? What are they doing? What are they chunky and or just out of shape and simpy and kind of just not bettering themselves? And, well, yes. Yeah, she's telling you, and it does happen to be true a lot of the time. Oh, man. So she ate the talking point. This is our Friends at Whatever podcast, by the way. She ate the talking point that the gym content, if you care as a man about bettering yourself and going to the gym and working out and, you have entered the rabbit hole for right-wing extremism. I mean, have you ever in your life? And she uses Andrew Tate. She actually, has a disgust for him. And she doesn't say because he's a misogynist. She says because he's into self-betterment for men. What's wrong with that? What the heck is even going on? What is wrong with you, honey? What kind of crazy, brain dead pill did you swallow? Guys, go to the gym, get yourself in order. And by the way, I signed up for the Andrew Tate, I don't know what it is, the emails that come in, because I was like, what is this guy making everybody so mad, right? I want to see what he's saying. Maybe there's a ton of emails in here that are ooh, nasty stuff. I want to know. And I'm getting them. And it's how to better yourself, how to get your finances in order, getting in shape, having a mindset. I mean, that guy, listen. You love him or hate him, that guy's got a mindset of I feel like he's ready to walk through fire and not get burned, right? Because it is a lot of the power of the mind to control the body, to control outcome. It just is. The mind is a very powerful thing. That guy's mind is wicked in terms of just strong, very strong-minded. Okay, and I see that coming in through his emails. And I'm like, wow, is this what's getting people mad? Well, yes. Yes, it is. Because all those guys that he's talking to, that he's saying, get in the gym, get your you-know-what together, all that, aren't going to take crap from some dumb feminist who's telling them what to do. They're going to demand a traditional woman. They're going to say, I'm not settling, and I have all of these assets. So if you want me with all of this that's going to come with it. And yes, I'm going to respect you and I'm going to treat you right. But if you want this, then you got to do something for me. That guy's going to have the confidence to not take this crap from these women who think they own the world now because they're feminists and society has propped them up with this garbage. So think about why that guy is the enemy. The Tates, it's not about the case. And it's not. It's about this stuff, right? And she mentions him in light of, well, he's into the self-betterment. Oh, no, honey, you'll have a man who actually gives a lick about his own wellness and being and takes care of himself and doesn't take your crap. That's what they're afraid of. Because if you have your life in order, you don't take their crap. You don't. You have options. And then they have to behave better. They have to bring something to the table. They can't be promiscuous and racking up body counts and saying, I don't want to be a traditional woman and doing all this. If you have options, they don't get chosen then. They know it. Now, should women be behaving well on their own? Yes, of course. You shouldn't need guys to say, no, you don't. Of course, but you're not doing it, ladies. You're not doing it. When the time came for you to lead and show what you've got, you're promiscuous and sleeping around and justifying bad behavior. You're doing all wrong stuff. It just is. Okay. And I'm not saying all guys are gold, right? We talk about the guys that pay for OF. I get it. But if you want to be a quality woman, you can. What are you talking like this for? Is that ridiculous? Is this what college brings you? I'd love to know if she went to college. You know, college is touted as informative and educational. These women come out of college sounding dumber than when they went in. I'll get flagged for bullying for saying it. It's true. It's true. All right. Let's go to number 3. Ooh, okay. This is a 3-part series. I can't. Oh, man. All right, let's do it.
Ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'll give myself a 10. In the girl community, I would give myself a 10 out of 10. In society, I'd give myself a 7.5 out of 10 to be realistic.
I'd give myself a 10 as well.
Yeah, I would give myself a 10. I think everyone should give themselves a 10.
I feel like my confidence is like a 10, but societal standards maybe like a 7 or 8.
I would say 8 too.
I'm a 20.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right.
Since we're all going to lie, I'll just be a 20. If the other girls who are there are assessing themselves at a 10 societally, how in the world could you possibly be assessing yourself at a 7?
I mean, other than being...
You mean the big thing? Like the literal elephant in the room?
I'm dating celebrities, billionaires, millionaires. And a lot of guys don't want to admit that they like girls because of guys like you, where you would turn around and look at your friend and be like, oh, I can't believe you like that whale. And then he feels really unconfident and then goes to my page.
Come on.
And spends $800 to collect my content. It's a lot of like, maybe if you made your men counterparts more friendly, you would realize what a broad taste of women men actually have.
Most of the dudes who are running around with chicks are ugly dudes.
Okay. Oh, man, Andrew Wilson. First of all, we see Brian's face. We see Andrew's face. And Andrew Wilson has the best expressions on the planet. Okay. Just the best. And you see all of these girls that are saying 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10, 10. The girl that's morbidly obese, let's just talk from a health perspective. She is morbidly obese. I'm not here to insult. It's just a fact, right? You look at somebody, you could say they're grossly skinny, right? It just is, right? Let's just be scientific about it. She's morbidly obese. She says she's a 10 in she calls it the heavy world, whatever you want to say. And then she says a 7. And then somebody else says an 8. And he says I'm a 20 because this is all lies. Now, okay, listen. Again, women. A few months ago, a friend of mine's credit card got stolen. It was a total nightmare, wreaked havoc on their whole family. Financial security was threatened, everything. And I said, why didn't you get Aura? She should have. She has it now. Identity theft, by the way, is happening every 14 seconds in America. That's an astounding stat. On this show, I want to protect you from identity theft. I want to protect your privacy. I want to protect your financial security. I'm excited to share this partnership. I told you I'd never promote something on the show that I don't use. I use Aura for my family. My parents now use it. My extended family at large, my friends, everyone. Aura is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software, and it's all in one app. And I'm not terribly tech savvy, as you know. If I can do it, you can do it. It's super duper user friendly. Aura monitors the dark web for your emails, your passwords, and social security numbers, and sends alerts right to your phone or your email if something is going down that's shady. So if someone opens a credit card in your name, for example, Aura sends you a real-time alert. The VPN also lets you stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history, very important, and personal info safe and encrypted. You all know I talk a lot about the system about the death of privacy. This is a way to protect that privacy. Check this out. Aura found my passwords on the dark web 40 times. 40 times. That's scary stuff. If you're curious how many times your passwords are on the dark web, and you should be, right? You got passwords in your bank accounts, all sorts of stuff you don't want people coming in and finding out. If you're curious, I want you today to go to aura.com/Jedediah. Also link below in the show description. And if you sign up right now with my link, Aura's going to give you a 2-week free trial. 2 weeks to see how many times your passwords are on the dark web. You can't lose. There's nothing to lose. And if you sign up, let me know in the comments. I want to know how many times your passwords were found. Come on, we got to know this stuff. I hope you'll take advantage of this amazing offer. The system may be out to get you. I am here to protect your privacy, your security, and all that. Aura.com/Jedediah. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Go find out if your passwords have been compromised. Somewhere along the line, you got told that you should just say you're a 10 plus all the time and have that vision. And here's the problem with that is that you say, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10. You're not a 10, right? You're not objectively. You're not a 10. You say, I'm a 10, and then you want the 10 guy. You go out to the bar and you see a guy that's got all of the things, the finances, everything, and he happens to be a stallion. He looks like a walking supermodel, and you're like, well, I'm a 10. So that's, my turf. No, except that you're actually a 5. So here's the thing. Be confident, but not delusional. Be confident, but not delusional, okay? And there's also something, ladies, I know society tells you now, I'm a 10, be overconfident. Oh yeah, girl power. But there's something really beautiful about humility. And when that is real, when you are a 9 or a 10 and you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm like a 7. And you really feel that way because you're not enraptured with your looks and you're actually humble. That girl becomes a 12. Because its humility is so beautiful in women. There's nothing more attractive than an attractive woman who doesn't think she's super attractive and doesn't weaponize her attractiveness. She just is. And it's usually the girl next door type with not a lot of makeup and not a lot of embellishments. That's just a pretty girl, but she's not using that to get the guy. She's not using that to sleep around. She's not using it for anything. It just is. And it's a beautiful thing. Guys, you know that the prettiest women are the ones who don't think they're the 10. That they have a lot of humility. It's a deeply attractive trait in a woman. Humility. Deeply. Across all, not just looks-wise, but across all fronts. Now, the other thing in society, and we're going to talk about it, and if we get flagged, screw them, is this elevation of obesity, right? Now, you have this woman who is morbidly obese, who's saying she's a 10, who's saying, first of all, she's saying that she's, got all these guys. I don't know what kind of content she does. She's got all these guys looking at her content. Maybe she's got an OF. I don't know. I didn't look into it because, frankly, I didn't want to see the page. It was not something my eyes needed to be exposed to, if you know what I mean. She's saying that she's got athletes, she's got this, she's got that. And Andrew Wilson comes back and says, well, no, most of the guys who are going to date someone who's overweight, they're going to be ugly, he says. I would argue that usually they're overweight. It's true. When you see a very overweight woman, usually standing next to them is what? A very overweight man. Because it's just not it's not realistic. If a guy cares about his fitness, that means he cares about his health. It's not just about what you look like. It's not just like, oh, I want to look good. It's I want to feel good. I care about my health. I care about what's going on in my body. I care about longevity. You care about all those things, and you can't care about those things and then choose a woman to be beside you who doesn't care about any of those things. You're going to want the mother of your child to have a risky pregnancy because of obesity? No. You're going to want the mother of your child to not be able to chase after a young kid because she's just loaded with blubber? No. It's not healthy. So this elevation, and you see, they're in all the magazines now, this elevation of the obese woman is dangerous, right? And now you've got like the obesity modeling and all that, which I think has fallen by the wayside a bit, thankfully, in the last year or so. But this, everyone's body is beautiful and every size is beautiful. Well, it's not. It's not, because part of being beautiful is being healthy. And it's doing a huge disservice to these women to not be honest. Like, hey, you need to lose weight. You're at risk for this, and this, just by virtue of being overweight. This is not just about women. This is about men, anyone. Being overweight carries risk. And is this true? Does she have? Now, listen, most people who go to content where people have like a freakish component, like, overweight women doing OF content, that's like a fetish. People will have a fetish for that maybe, and they'll go and do that. But I just really have a hard time believing, honey, that the average fit athlete is coming for you. Call me crazy. But this is the delusion, right? So I want you to see it. Every single girl deluded. Not one girl there was a 10. Objectively, right? Not one girl there was a 10. We can all say it. And yet look at how they view themselves. And by the way, how they view you in return, because now they think they're up here. So you're like, you got to be up here too. In the meantime, they're here and they see you who's here and you're no good. You're not good enough for them. And you're like, well, did you see? Do you have a mirror, honey? Of course, it's not just about looks, but they're bringing it down to looks in this clip. So we're going to talk about it. Okay, let's go to the second one in that series. It's B. Ooh.
Say I was an ugly girl, which I'm not, and I'm confident in that. Would they still put me in Nordstrom's? Because that's my face.
It's a political agenda.
That's my face. You can't see my body. I'm gorgeous.
It's political.
I'm gorgeous.
They're trying to push a political message.
Push a political message of what? You can't see my body. I have literally been handpicked by my waist up and told I'm one of the most beautiful models in the world. I get flown from New York to LA to Canada to everywhere in between. And you think it's because I'm ugly?
No, I think it's because it's a political tool.
Okay, so out of all the people, like, you don't think there's one pretty one? They're not putting ugly people up on there.
Okay, so let's stop that. Like, that's what he's talking about. It's a political tool. He's talking about this elevation to be politically correct. Of like, you can't call obese anymore because everyone has to feel beautiful and perfect. Everyone's in a perfect body. No, that's not true. That's not true. And why do we have an easy time saying that when someone's too thin, we have an easy time saying you look malnourished. This is not healthy. But we have a hard time saying that when someone's obese because it's not politically correct to call an obese person. But it's totally fine to tell someone who's too skinny, you're too skinny. It's just society made that rule, right? It just shouldn't be that way. You gotta look healthy, right? Something's wrong if your weight is drastically in one direction or the other. It's not good. Can we just objectively say that? Oh no, Jed, someone who ate 6 donuts this morning is going to be upset. Too bad. And then she says, I'm gorgeous. Then she says that, they're not looking at her body. They look from the face, that you could still say in the face that there's extra weight. No? I mean, is it me? But she says, I'm gorgeous. Even if first of all, no, honey, listen, attractive face, sure. But like, to be saying I'm gorgeous, isn't it just such a turnoff? Isn't it just, and I don't care. The point here is not even about her. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're Megan Fox, who's been altered and doctored and kind of looks like an alien, to be honest. But I don't care who you are. Anyone from a natural beauty who's objectively, everyone's like, wow, this woman is just objectively beautiful, to an altered beauty who some of us think like, oh, that she's pretty but looks like an alien, to someone who's not that attractive. I don't care who you are. If you're saying, I'm gorgeous, you become less attractive as a woman. Do you not? No humility. Okay, let's go to C. It keeps going. Ooh.
If all men just disappeared, do you think the world would be better or worse? All men.
It'd be safer.
Do you actually think the world would be safer if all men disappeared? It would not be safer. It would be absolutely catastrophic.
I think maybe it wouldn't be safer in the terms like maybe a wolf might get me or something.
I mean, how many women would freeze to death and starve to death?
Well, if I'm so how am I going to starve to death, Andrew?
Are you saying?
It might be 6 months for you.
Okay. He's going to die. I'm going to make it.
If
I'm
all
okay
men
with that.
were to disappear, the immediate catastrophe that would be.
How?
Okay, so 95% of
because all
tanker
the
drivers are
run by men.
90% tanker drivers.
Tanker, like in the war?
Tankers.
What's a tanker?
The thing that hauls the gasoline.
Water, sewage, electricity, gas, fuel, refinement, telecommunications, IT infrastructure, road maintenance, delivery drivers, police, fire rescue.
How about other things like fracking, electrical maintenance, nuclear engineering? Like the list goes on and on and on.
Okay. But do you see how now we realize that in addition to the obesity problem, she's brain dead. I mean, can you imagine? And this is amazing. When they say this, they're like, oh, it would be like if men just vanished, it would be so safe. Honey, what would you be doing? You'd have nothing would be maintained in society. He goes through that long list on purpose. And you see how he says the tanker? And she's like, in war? What's a tanker? And he's like, no, just what carries the gas. You'd have no gasoline for your car. He talks about the fracking. So even the origin of the oil would not get to you because it's all men in these jobs. Engineering, building and maintaining roads, bridges, plumbing, all these industries that basically maintain society, maintain your home, maintain the heating and cooling systems, maintain all of it. In addition to, yes, the military, all that, and people on the front lines, it's all men. So this idea, she's like, well, I would only be in danger of like a wolf coming and biting me. She has no acknowledgement that society is built by men. The parts of society that we really need, that we need to function to have, gas in your car, to have heat in your home, to have things in your house work and get fixed when they break, to have a road to drive on, to have all of these things. It's men. Men have built society, and you benefit from it as a woman, and that's great. And you know what you should be saying? Well, thank you, guys. Not, oh, I'd be safer if you didn't exist. No, you'd be dead. You'd be dead if they didn't exist. Dead. Yeah, honey, dead. Oh, duh. You could see like the light bulb with the crickets. Oof. Can't imagine why they say that some women don't get a little light bulb when the thoughts happen because there is no bulb.
Obviously, I want to be with a man who's more successful than me, right? And so what I realize is I'm like, damn, these men who are super successful, they have unlimited options. Whereas me as a successful woman, my dating pool is like tiny. Do you feel that as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the more successful you get as a woman, the less options you have.
Right. Whereas for them, it's vice versa. Yeah.
For them, it's more options.
I know.
Guys don't feel the need to be taken care of. They like to take care of you. So then they can literally take care of anyone. The more successful they get, they don't care if you're a waiter, like they don't care if you like teacher, what you are. They just are like, okay, well, if you're the right one, like it kind of is a little up. Men have so much more options than women.
Okay, it's true. I mean, it is true for these successful women because as these women climb the ladder and get more and more successful and richer, these women want men who make more money. So they want, I think it's like I don't know what the ratio is, but if a woman makes 100K, I think they want the guy to make around like 165 or something like that percentage above them. I'm pretty sure it's around that. So you're decreasing your options in the marketplace the more career successful you become, because you're saying that you want the guy to be more successful. So you make $1 million, you want that guy to be making more than $1 million, right? So you're decreasing the pool for you. Guys who become successful don't care if a woman, they don't need you to be more successful. They'll date a waitress. They don't care. They want you to be loyal and honest and fun and positive and want to be a good mom and all the feminine traits. So they don't care. They don't need you to be successful at all in that way, in that, climb the corporate ladder, financially successful way. So they have a ton of options. So it's all good, right? They get it. You see like the light bulbs going off and you're like, great. But then they say at the end, it's kind of effed up. Here's the thing. It's only effed up because women are following a male path. Do you see how this would all make sense and work out if women weren't following a male path? If women weren't trying to be the successful one in that way, and they were instead defining their success as being feminine and saying, well, my success is defined by a healthy home. My success is defined by children that are raised beautifully and, nurtured from the get-go. And my success is defined by being a supportive wife. And if all of those things were what they labeled as success and they were focused on that instead, then their options would widen in terms of the men that could come into their world. The delay wouldn't happen because they would have much more men to choose from. They would be attracting, but they would in fact be attracting even more successful men because they would be in their feminine, and what's attracted to you in your feminine is a masculine man who's making all the money and all that stuff. This would all fix itself beautifully, actually, if everyone was just not trying to do somebody else's path, particularly the women trying to do the male path. So it's only effed up because you're effing it up. It's only effed up because you're doing the guy's job. And you're Xing yourself out of the whole dating pool in the process. Wake up, ladies. Boom, light bulb. Where is it when you need it?
You want to be my girlfriend? I'm a hard guy to be with. Give me your phone. Ooh. And if she doesn't unlock it and give it to you, you already know what time it is. So,
period. Folks, better pay attention to that. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. I'll argue that till the day is long.
100%.
Some girl hides her phone. Dude, you already know.
Yep. Because nowadays,
I just don't want anybody in it. This is my personal. I don't know why. I just don't like people in my stuff. Bullshit, bitch. You're cheating.
Exactly. And people might sit there and say, "Oh, well, Myron, that's really insecure. Brad, that's really insecure."
Okay, so we are going to call this the phone test. Some woman hides her phone. You already know what you're getting. This is the phone test. And guys, you need to do it. You need to do it. If you decide, okay, it's time. I like this girl. I think Myron says to wait a year. Okay, but whatever. Whatever decision you make for yourself, you meet a girl, you like her, you decide it's time to make that girl your girlfriend. You feel comfortable, you trust her, whatever. Do the phone test. And if she's like, yeah, I really want to be your girlfriend. And you're like, okay, you know what? All right. Can I see your phone? If there's any hesitation at all, I don't care. If there's any like this, deer in headlights. If there's any, well, no, because this is like I don't look at your phone. And like, if there's any holding onto the phone, or you try to, and there's like a grip, suddenly she's got the grip strength of a lion, you know? If there's any, anything, any hesitation, if anything short of, here, babe, done. You end that situation then. You do not make her your girlfriend. You end it. She's doing something nasty on the side. She's cheating. She's doing something on the phone she's not supposed to be doing. You're going to see it. You're going to find it. She knows it. She's been caught. She has been caught. I wrote a whole book on this, by the way. # do not disturb. Go read it. It's a nice book. This stuff is real. And now we live in a world where it used to be a lot harder. Cheating used to be hard. It did. It was not comparatively. Of course, people are going to cheat. They're going to cheat. It used to be harder. Now, this thing, forget it. Sliding in and out of the text. You got WhatsApp. You got all the social media apps with DMs. You got text. You got a million ways if you're going to be doing something nasty to see. If there's any hesitation on her part to hand that phone over, done. You got a red flag girl. Get out now.
It's not insecure or controlling for you to say, give me your phone. I would argue it means you're very secure because you don't give a fuck what she's going to say. And on top of that, you're in control. You're not controlling. You're in control. And if she doesn't want to give it, fine. Break up with her. But
what if you're married?
That is why it's so important to not get the state involved.
Okay. He gets into marriage. Marriage is a separate whole conversation they go on. And obviously marriage needs to be, she says, what if you're married? We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into marriage because I need to handle that separately, because when you're married, then there's a whole bunch of questions we have to ask. Are there children involved? How long are you married? What does that marriage look like? What's been going on in the marriage? There's just a lot. And obviously when you break up with someone in a marriage, the severity of the problem, and it has to be just handled with care. Right? There's a lot that goes on. Is the state involved? What is that going to, there's a lot of concerns that we can't get into that right now. So we're going to pretend they're not married. I like what he says about insecurity, because what happens is men get told you're insecure if you ask for a phone, or you're insecure if you don't want your girl to go out and be half naked for everybody, or you're insecure if you have a problem with girls' night out, or you're insecure if you don't want your girl to have male friends. It's not insecure. It's just deeply unappealing for a man to know that his woman needs male validation from outside of him, that you need attention and validation from other men that are not him. That tells you right there she doesn't give a lick about you. She's never going to prioritize that relationship, and she's always going to be that girl. She's always so hungry for attention. And by the way, let's flip this. She's so deeply insecure that she needs that validation constantly coming in. And those are the kind of girls that cheat. Those are the kind of girls that stray. Those are the kind of girls that find themselves in situations that are not advantageous to them, because they're constantly soliciting attention due to a deep insecurity and need. So it's not that the guy is insecure for asking. It's that you're insecure because you constantly need that attention. Why do you need someone other than the guy you love and you're with to be giving you attention? Ask yourself why, if that's you. And by the way, the reason it's not insecure for a man, when handled properly, right, is that guy doesn't give a lick if you leave. If he says, give me your phone, and you say no, and he says, cool, I'm done. That's not insecure. I'm actually so secure in my options, in my masculinity, and in what's right versus wrong, that if you're not going to play fair, I don't need you. That's actually a very secure position to take. Very. Okay. Now, if you cry and scream and say, give me your phone, and then she doesn't give you the phone and you stay with her anyway, now you're a simpy insecure. Now she knows. Now you may as well just consider yourself cheated on, because if it hasn't happened already, it will, because she knows that you don't take a hard stand. She knows you're insecure and you're not going to put your foot down and you don't have standards, and she's going to walk all over you. So the key is, if you ask for something like the phone and she doesn't give it, then you leave. Otherwise, you are a doormat. And she will assess that and capitalize on it, especially if she's a bad girl. And let's face it, if she's not giving you the phone, she's worth nothing. Listen, guys, if she's not giving you the phone, you know what's in it, right? Is there a D pic in there from somebody else? I mean, let's be honest. Are there pics of her? What's going on? Or if it's not another guy, is she taking pictures when she's out with her girls? Are you seeing what's really going on Girls Night Out? I'm just saying, are there messages with her friends that she's saying, ooh, I don't like it, bitching about you, saying what you're doing wrong? Ooh, or is there conniving? Oh, I'm just going to stay with him for a minute, but I spoke to my ex. Is there stories being exchanged? Something's going on in her phone. I'm telling you, if she won't let you see it, red flag girl. Done. Be tough. All right. Did you hit subscribe? I always forget to say it. Man alive. It's like I need a button here that automatically goes off. In fact, maybe we need to have a subscribe that interrupts me because it's so hard to remember. Hit your subscribe button. Hit your like button. Show some love. Woo! All right. Love you all. Thank you for being here today. Woo. Go get some sunshine. It's medicine. Love you. See you soon.